Hi, my name's Jennifer Bell. I'm a psychotherapist in private practice. I wonder, do you ever wonder what normal is? Wish you could be normal but have no idea what that would be? Or maybe it feels like everybody else somehow got an instruction book to life and you somehow failed to get your copy of it. I also wonder if you feel like you spend an awful lot of time doing things for other people, for your family, for coworkers, bosses, whoever, and keep waiting for it to be your turn. If so, you're not alone. I think women in particular tend to have those thoughts and feelings a lot. And the thing is that we don't share them with other people and we don't realize that other people are thinking that too. There's a saying that says, don't compare your insides to somebody else's outsides. And the meaning of that is that somebody else might look like they've got it all together, but inside they might be thinking and feeling things very much like what you are thinking and feeling. There's also a saying, don't believe everything you think. And that's what this video is about, is just stopping and stepping back and going, I wonder if everything that I think is actually correct. The other day, because I do, among other things, alcoholism and addiction counseling, somebody asked me what the fourth step of Alcoholics Anonymous is. She looked a little bit scared when I said that the fourth step is to take a searching and fearless moral inventory of yourself. She probably would have been even more scared if I told her the fifth step involves admitting to yourself, to God, and to another human being, generally a sponsor, the exact nature of your wrongs. That sounds like a pretty tall order, and most of us, I think, wouldn't want to do it because we think that if somebody really knew everything about us, they wouldn't accept us, they wouldn't like us. There's a children's story that I really like, that I remember from when I was a kid. Never knew at the time that it would be applicable to more than just a children's story, called The Monster at the End of This Book. In the book, Grover, who's a Sesame Street character, finds out from the title of the book that there is a monster at the end of the book, so he tries to ask the reader not to go to the end of the book because he's afraid. First he just asks for you not to turn the pages, but of course you keep turning them because it's a book and you're reading it, so he gets more afraid and he starts doing things like tying the pages of the book together or building a brick wall so that you can't turn the page. And of course you keep turning pages and you get to the end of the book. At that point, Grover realizes that the monster at the end of the book is him. As he said, it's me, lovable furry old Grover. And then he tries to save face by saying, and see, you were scared and I told you it was going to be okay. And then on the very last page of the book, you see him thinking, I am so embarrassed. This is what I'm talking about here when I tell you not to believe everything you think, because many of us think that there's something really wrong with us deep down. We sort of feel like there's a monster at the end of the book and we're afraid to get there. But if we really look at ourselves and even have the courage to share ourselves with somebody else, like a therapist, we'll find that actually we're not as bad as we thought we were, and we're not as alone as we thought we were. And that's a very good feeling when you finally get it. Unfortunately, so many people don't because, as I said, they just never get around to sharing themselves with anybody because it's too scary. I often invite my clients to look at the different ways that they think and to test those thoughts and see how likely it is that they are actually accurate. I encourage them not to believe everything they think, which sounds kind of funny. Don't believe everything you think? Of course you believe it because you're thinking it. And that's exactly the problem. We learn ways of thinking in our lives, usually way back as kids, and we don't realize there's a reason why we learned them at the time, but that they're really not helpful, and that we can think differently than that. Many people refer to these sorts of thoughts as automatic negative thoughts, or ants for short. That's a good image because you can think of shooing ants away from your picnic so that you can have a good time without worrying about insects in your food. And those ants are very common because they're automatic, and because we've thought them all of our lives, we don't even bother to notice them most of the time. But if you do take the time to notice these ants, which fall into categories like mind reading, fortune telling, black and white thinking, maximizing and minimizing, you'll realize that you're actually being harder on yourself than is appropriate. that you are comparing yourself to other people and finding yourself lacking in ways that you don't need to do. If you visit my website, you can sign up for a free 5-part e-course called Don't Believe Everything You Think, 5 Simple Ways to Change Your Thinking and Change Your Life. I encourage you to go through that e-course and take it seriously, do the exercises, and see how it changes how you look at yourself and even how you look at other people. And also stay tuned, because soon I'm going to be starting an online community of women who can help each other to identify ants, shoo away ants, and realize that they actually can be and think and feel much differently than they do now. So until next time, watch out for those ants.